Hello there and welcome to Module 2 of the Business of Wellness Consulting course. My name is Alyssa Harriman and I am here to guide you through Module 2, which talks specifically about your programs and your services. Now, this can be a very tough area for developing business strategies for many practitioners, and my goal is to help to simplify that for you. So the first thing you want to consider is, what is it that you plan to offer? There's so many different varieties of programs that are available out there. And like I spoke about in Module 1, about being specifically focused on who your wellness clients are going to be, you also want to be specifically focused on what programs you're going to offer. You can offer programs on an individual format, which allows you one-on-one time. It can be anywhere from 30 to 60-minute meetings. Perhaps you're going to do group programs. We'll be covering group programs in Module 5 when we discuss corporate wellness programs and group programming. Group programming is one of my favorite things to do, but maybe you're not at that comfort level or you're not quite there yet. Maybe you intend to offer corporate programming. Maybe you're going to be going into large employers and doing lunch and learns or running wellness programming with them. Perhaps you're considering running your business online. Many practitioners are switching to this method. It saves them travel and overhead costs, reduces the amount of time that they're spending with clients, which is, freeing up more time for more bookings. And also maybe you're really interested in selling packages. One of the things I learned very early on in business was not to sell one of anything. So being a nutritionist, I would work with clients. I always do an intake assessment. I do charge for the intake assessment. And we, get all the information gathered. And from the intake assessment, I also tell them what route I feel is best for them for moving forward. I have a variety of programs available, from one-on-ones to group programs, corporate programs. I even offer online. But I didn't start out that way. I would just tell them what individual program worked best for them. When I started adding group programs, I would also add in what available group programs were coming up that they could join into. So, and when I ran corporate programs, I started to ask if any of the colleagues at work would be interested in joining them as well. I'm now offering moving into online programming. This would be one of the online programming that you're now part of. But what I learned in selling single services was, when I had a day booked of a client for one-on-one meetings, and I am a mom, I have 4 children, and at the time when I first launched my practice, I had 2 small children, and I paid overhead at my clinic, and I had to drive to another town in order to, work at the spa that I worked at, in this little clinic space I had in this spa. And I had to pay for daycare, and I would go in for a day booked full of individual appointments. Well, what ended up happening is people would cancel, or they'd reschedule, or they'd no-show, and my full day of appointments would go down to just 1 or 2 people would show up, and I would only make money off of those couple that did. And it wasn't enough for me to cover my overhead costs to even be in clinic for that day. So I learned, if I sell things as a package, one, people are making a commitment, so they're more likely to show up. They've already paid money upfront for the program. And if they no-show me or can't make it or cancel last minute, I still got paid for the appointment. It utilized one of their appointments. So as a practitioner now, I do an intake. That is a one-on-one to one-time appointment. It comes with a set of recommendations where I outline how I would like to move forward with them. And then from there, they purchase a package. If they wish to do one-on-one individual appointments with me and not purchase a package, the rate for the individual programs per session is much higher for those individual sessions than it is if they purchase a package from me. We can determine how we're going to use that package, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or as they need to, but they purchase a certain amount of programs from me. You're also going to want to think of Module 2 is, what is going to be the purpose of your programs? What is your goal from start to finish? What are you hoping to help your client achieve? And how long will that program last? You're then going to want to consider your pricing, and this can be difficult. I felt myself that when I was doing pricing, that if I charged $45 an appointment, I was making great money. That was, $45 an hour was great money, almost 15 years ago for myself, being a new practitioner and being in my early 20s. What I failed to recognize is I still had my overhead, I still had daycare, I still had travel time, and all of those factors came into it. So that $45 per hour didn't actually make me any money at all, especially when no one showed up because they weren't committed to a program. When you do your pricing, you want to break your pricing down in 3 different ways. You want to look at what percentage is going to go to you, how much is going to go back into your business, and how much is going to go into savings for those slow times. I usually do 60-30-10. 60% of my fee goes directly to me to pay me for my time. 30% goes into my business, and 10% will then go into savings for later on down the road when I get those slow times. I'm going to have operational expenses, whether it's overhead, phone or internet, travel time, all of that type of stuff, and that comes out of the business. That doesn't impact my actual income. So I'm going to strongly suggest once you pick out your programs and you start to figure out your pricing, make sure you have a formula around your pricing. It's going to ensure that you're always having a profitable business and that you and your business are both getting paid. Now, when you're thinking of packages, make sure you think about how many sessions are going to go into that. You'll take your pricing formula and apply that per session. I do offer a discounted rate for package sessions because my clients are making that commitment and they're paying up front. So, for example, they might pay $105 for an individual session on their own, but in a package of 4 or 5, they might only be paying $85 per session. That gives them significant savings per appointment, but it's still a reasonable appointment fee for myself. The other thing you're going to want to consider, and we discuss in this module, is your seasonal promotions. That is going to have an impact on what your pricing is. There's going to be very busy times of the year for you, and there's going to be very slow times of the year for you. Traditionally, the spring is a very busy time for myself as a nutritionist. Once that warm weather hits here in Canada, everyone wants to get back into their summer clothes. Most of us have packed on a few pounds over the winter, so it's time to get on track, start eating the right foods, getting active again. And spring often carries me right through my summer. That being said, July and August are the slowest season of the year for me because in Canada, where we are, a lot of people are really enjoying their summer. They enjoy barbecues and cocktails with friends and these long days, and they're really not interested in being on a nutrition program or having any sort of restrictions. So I have to budget and plan for July and August to be very, very slow seasons for me. The other time of the year that I find is incredibly slow is December. Most people are not interested in, that month around that holiday season in being on a nutrition program. So I tend to have deals and programs available or pre-registration for January programs happening in December. You're going to want to look at your market. You're going to want to look at the industry you're in, the services that you're offering, and figure out when are going to be your busy times and when are going to be your slow times and how you're going to be able to work through that. The nice thing about having that 10% of your sales going to savings is during those really slow months, you're going to have some money set aside to get you through it. If you have any questions with Module 2, once you start working through the materials, please feel free to book your mentoring session and we will schedule that and answer your questions. Good luck, and we'll see you in Module 3.